very hard to see men get vulnerable. As you all know, June is still Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and we are tackling every issues concerning men's mental health. Today we have two special guests with us in the house. They want to tell us why men don't get vulnerable. Why? Like, I want to know why. So they're here to tell us, and their voices and opinions and experiences are very, very essential in this conversation. My name is Jemima Basi.
And I am Ayodele Fasei. Okay, so yes, today, like she rightly said, we are here to talk about why men or why most men, so let's not generalize now,
Yeah, most
why
men.
most men are not vulnerable. Is there any particular reason? Is there a mindset behind that? Is it the way they were brought up? Is it just a worldwide or society-wide mindset that men should not be vulnerable? We are going to find out here today. But before we go on, let's even talk about what vulnerability is. What does it mean to be vulnerable? So, to be vulnerable means to be able to share your emotions, to be able to share how you feel with the people close to you or the people that you trust. So, let's get that right. So, it's important that you are vulnerable with people that you trust. If not, your emotions may be taken for granted. So, let's get on with our conversation. Okay, so just before we get on with our conversation, let's introduce our guests. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Olamide Omotosho.
Thank you for honoring our invitation.
All right,
And
and my name is Samuel Olayemi.
thank you. It's great to have you here with us. Okay, so we'd like to know, Olamide and Sam, what I've just explained what vulnerability is and what I've just explained what vulnerability is. What do you think it means to be vulnerable? And do you think you are vulnerable? Olamide.
So that word vulnerability, the term you use is wide. I kind of need you to in what aspect or in which category or which space of life that I'm vulnerable. Am I vulnerable to my parents? Am I vulnerable to my partner? Am I vulnerable to friends? Am I vulnerable to the society at large, or am I vulnerable to in what aspect of what am I?
Okay. Okay, so thank you for requesting for that clarification. So what I mean is, are you vulnerable to people in your circle, say your partner, your parents, like you mentioned, your friends? How open are you with your emotions, or when you are under pressure or you feel, yeah, stressed? Is there anybody in your circle that you can be vulnerable with?
Okay, so I'm going to separate it.
Okay.
Am I vulnerable? No.
Wow.
That's the shortest answer. Am I vulnerable?
Wow.
No. Am I open? Yes. I'm open to talking about what's in my head, what I'm thinking. But am I vulnerable? Because in the term that I classify vulnerability means that as a man, I'm complaining, and I don't like to complain. I don't like to, or I don't believe in a man complaining or whining about stuff, which means that you are exposing yourself to outside forces. You are exposing yourself to people, or you're essentially telling people that these are your weaknesses, especially as a man. You're telling them that, oh, I don't have the strength to do this. I don't have the capability to do this. I'm weak. And then you're whining about it. You're basically just complaining on and on. Oh, this thing happened at work. Okay, you're a man. Grow up. Be a man about it. Move on.
Interesting.
If your car, you got in an accident, and maybe you have to get a new set of tires. Okay, figure it out. That's those. I mean, the moniker of a man is knowing that, okay, X has happened, and being immediately able to change and move on from that, instead of staying there and wallowing in whatever situation that it is. So if it's in that term of being vulnerable, no, I'm not. What's the reason? Oh, let's talk, let's sit down, and yeah, I can do that. So, no.
So you said something that so your perspective, does it also affect your wife? Like probably you're having a very bad day. Like you said, probably you had a terrible day at work and you get home, you cannot just tell her that, babe, this I'm having a bad day. See what happened, this client. You can't tell that to your wife.
I'm not going to say anything. I will move on like the day, like in the day, like nothing happened.
Wow.
Okay, so moving on from there, is there any other way that you express this, pressure or stress or those instances? Is there any other way that you express it?
If I feel stressed,
Mhm.
if I feel overwhelmed by the situation that happened, and giving giving my thoughts on how a man should process activities, I have a lot of okay. First of okay, I do three things. Growing up. I have conversations with myself. So I'm sure I do it more than a lot of other people. Maybe 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 100,000 people. I have conversations with myself like I'm talking to somebody that's standing right there. So and at the end of that conversation, I've reached a solution, or I've reached a verdict that okay, this is what I'm going to do and this is how I'm going to go about it. Even before I think of having that conversation with anybody else. That's one. Two, I go to the gym. By the time I go to the gym, I'm fine. Whatever the situation, by the time I go to the gym and spend 1 hour there, I'm good.
So,
And three, I watch cartoons. When I watch
Interesting.
cartoons and I'm done laughing, I'm okay.
Mm.
okay, so let me say something to elaborate. So, what if at a point while you're thinking, or let me just ask, are you saying that all the time you sat yourself down talking to yourself, you've had the solution 100%, that you don't need to
Include
you
other
don't need
people.
to talk to people about it, and talking to people about it can also be interpreted that you're showing them this is your weak point. You need help with it.
Okay, so one thing that I've always done, and I'm sure that my parents or my siblings would probably agree to, is the only time I'll open my mouth. Okay, let's assume I broke my leg, for example. Let's assume I fell and I broke my leg. Nobody will know about that broken leg until maybe tetanus enters and
Wow. Wow.
maybe a doctor
That's
sees
serious.
it
Wow.
and my leg color starts to turn green
No.
and somebody sees it and then like, oh, what happened to your leg? That's how I am in any situation.
Also, it boils down to the way you were brought up. So it's I feel that way you were raised that way because the way you were raised now made it to yourself that you don't need to share your feelings, your pains with anyone because you feel you can handle it.
No, the way I was brought up was I should
You man.
no, not that should be man. I should know, or I should be able to figure out the solution. And unless you cannot find the solution, which means that I have looked at every possible angle that exists. And unless I have done that, I'm not allowed to whine about it.
Okay, we'll come back to but let's hear
Yes.
from Mr. Sam. So Mr. Sam, please let's hear from you. What's your view on being vulnerable as a man?
Okay, thank you. Vulnerability, I can say, is a state of emotional exposure,
Hmm.
right? And to me, I think it's more of a man's ego, and probably because of the way the man is being brought up, right? So, there's an English saying that says that though your mother has given birth to you, it takes a village
To raise a child.
to raise a child.
True.
So, and that also talks about the influence, the societal influence around the child. So that's why even at the parents also need to be careful because that also molds the man, and that depicts into why a man should think he should never be vulnerable, right? I understand that our views are
Different.
different, personal, right? And I also buy into a lot of these, some of the things he said. He's just being real, right? As a man, there's a level of vulnerability the society accepts from him. That's just the way it is. Not as if we were taught, but it still boils down to the societal values of it's all boils down to the definition of a man of the society. So for me, vulnerability, as I said, exposing your emotions, trying to talk around what you need, what you feel. Do you need help? Do you, because I also think being vulnerable should not even be seen as weakness,
Shouldn't.
right? The fear of vulnerability can also be seen to the fear of failure or weakness, because um, that is why if you need an assistance, maybe in secondary school, you're quite not good at the subject. What comes to your mind is you proceed to someone who's good at the subject to put you through so that you could succeed, or else you get some lashing back at all, right? Because your mates are getting A1s, you are getting E8s or F9. So would you tell your parents it's because you don't want to be vulnerable, that is why you cannot approach the person that can guide you properly?
In some cases, that's actually do happen. I think it's also the way some children are brought up
Exactly.
not to ask for help. They see asking for help as you being weak. So some children actually go through that, where there's a situation where they need help, like the exact example you gave, that okay, I need help in this subject, but they are just not open to asking somebody for that help.
So what I want to say is the last note is that it's okay to feel that you should not be vulnerable, and it's also okay.
It's okay to feel that.
So on the last note, let me say, on your own personal belief, you can say it is okay not to be vulnerable, right? And on a different expression, I'm saying it is okay to be vulnerable as a man. So don't let the societal definition of vulnerability mean that it's a show of weakness. You get? I understand that we have our different beliefs, our different views, which is actually okay. Even the different views is also based on societal influence. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, so Olamide, what do you think about that? Sam just said that it's okay, but of course we know that you already said that you are not vulnerable. So I'm sure that you would agree with that part that he said it's okay if you are not vulnerable. So what do you think about that? Considering that particular example that he gave, that okay, you are in a situation and then you need help, and you know that if you don't get this help, it's going to, like, there's going to be some sort of wala. What do you do?
In that case, vulnerability is not even the term to use for that. A man is vulnerable. A man shouldn't be vulnerable. A man should not be vulnerable. And I'll give you in several instances.
Hey.
A man's job, as a man, your job is to protect the people in your circle. Now I'm talking your immediate family, maybe your siblings, maybe your parents, maybe if the person is married, and definitely your wife and kids are like protecting those people in your immediate circle. A vulnerable man cannot do that, because now he's vulnerable in his mind, which means an external party can come and attack him mentally.
I disagree. I disagree with you.
An,
With that. I
Okay.
actually disagree.
an external party can come and attack him mentally, make him feel less than he is.
I disagree
And
with
then,
that. I think it's all in the mind.
because he has allowed himself to be vulnerable, that word, he has allowed himself to be
Okay.
vulnerable to external influence, he is now susceptible to kinds of manipulation. One. So mentally he's vulnerable.
Hold on.
Physically,
Okay.
if he's also vulnerable physically, that's also a problem because now somebody can come and so his wife can come home now and say, "Ah, darling, somebody just attacked me or said something to me downstairs," and him being the
Protector.
the someone who is supposed to protect his wife, if he was physically vulnerable, let's say he was small or he wasn't that confident in his physical prowess, there's no way in any.
No, I just want to know how would he? What is the defense mechanism in that instance?
Okay.
The example you just gave.
Okay, let me give you an example. My wife, for a live example, my wife, I think sometime last week, said that there's a man that an estate or something, I think the market or something, came to meet her and was waving, talking to her because she was with the kids. And then she cited the example that she has seen that man severally, that the man never turns his head towards her anytime I'm there.
Interesting.
Anytime I'm there, the man does not even, he behaves as if he doesn't see her.
Like, doesn't
Because I'm physically there. Whether I can beat the man or not, it does not matter. The man understands that this guy is there. So already, the man can, unless if I was there and the man still feels that, let's make this guy go sit down. It means that to the man now, this guy is vulnerable to me coming to come and impose his own presence in a place that I would call my own.
I think it's just giving you your regard.
It's not any regard.
No, that's how I see it.
It is not any
if we look at
regard.
it,
It is how
the
men
example you
are.
just said.
It is just how men are. So if I can step into your space with utmost confidence, it means that you are vulnerable to anything that I do.
So what you're saying is, if let me cite another same example, and a man and a woman is going out, and another man sees his wife and addresses her, that means the other man there is vulnerable. That's what you're trying to say.
If another man comes and says anything to my wife,
when you are together,
when we are together, that man has assaulted me.
Okay, says anything to without
like in some form of insult or in some form of
okay.
correction or in some form of degrading, condescending manner. While I'm there, the man is asking for problem.
Okay, so let's say let me give you two instances.
Okay.
Number one is after the two instances can talk. Number one instance is God forbid you're being robbed in your house, right? And at a gunpoint. So obviously, yeah, God forbid that. So the thief has invaded your space. I'm just trying to use your words against you now, right? So the thieves have invaded your space. So because as a man who thinks
you should not be physically vulnerable.
yes, should not be vulnerable. Knowing that it is being vulnerable in that instance is relatable. Right. So even as a man of influence and affluence and physical strength and even being a major at that point is vulnerable because based on there's no form of defense mechanism. Forget action movies because obviously the person is obviously at an upper hand
advantage.
in which of course there can be instance where you quickly the situation turns around, but that one is even it's still based on an external factor helping you turn the situation around. So what would you have done at that? So are you saying that you're not vulnerable at that instance? Number two is it's your wife driving, and then the law enforcer stops on the road. right? And then maybe because she's in a haste, right? She doesn't want to provide the necessary card documents that the officer is requesting from her, and then the man is, as is losing his patience gradually, and then there are exchange of words, right? Now with that, is already he is already talking to your wife, and in that same space you are in that, it's also invading your space. You're in that car. So as you rightly said now, you said you feel insulted. Yes, you feel insulted. So what would you do now as a man that feels you should not be vulnerable at that instance? What I'm driving at is that
Will you let me give you the answer to the two?
okay, yeah, please go ahead, please go ahead.
First answer,
Okay.
for the arm robbery, this thing, something. In fact, I think it will answer both. This is my one answer I will answer. I think it's most likely answer the two situations. A man should not, if you have a choice as a man, you should not you should not put yourself inside that thing that will make you vulnerable. In the case of armed robber jumps into your house and this, you didn't have a choice. You're not going to call the armed robber to come here.
Okay.
It was a situational thing.
Fair
If
enough.
you have a choice, you should not open yourself to that vulnerability at all times. That's why people are building gates to
Just
their
now,
houses.
now,
They are-
you're-
they are-
now you're already talking about choices.
what where this thing started from was, are you vulnerable to, maybe the society or to your friend or to your partner or this thing, which suggests that, you are allowing yourself, you are opening that door
Yes.
by your own self, by choice.
Yes.
And I'm saying that as a man, you should close that door
Why?
because it is unacceptable. You cannot be put because you have a choice. Unless I don't have a choice, then I can be vulnerable.
So you're saying
Because the arm robber situation is I didn't have a choice.
No,
That is
you
why
have a
I-
choice, though.
No,
You can either
I don't have a
You
choice.
have a choice.
You don't
No,
have
no,
a choice.
you have a choice now, right? Really.
I don't have a
For every,
choice.
so for every situation, we all have choices.
Well,
That's
know
what
that.
No, if you are speaking of,
No.
if you are being,
Do you wait?
If you are
Do you
being-
agree that for every situation, we all have choices?
for every situation you have a choice. But
Aha.
at the same time, for certain situations, you don't have a choice. If I point a gun at you and say kneel down, you don't have a choice.
I can have the choice
Because
to
why?
kneel down.
But you will kneel down.
No, it's my choice. I can decide.
fear
No,
of your life.
I can decide not to kneel
For
down.
fear of your life,
For
you
fear
will
of
kneel
your
down.
life.
If you do not kneel down, I'll point. Okay,
No, I'm
let
just
me-
saying. No,
let
because
me-
you're
let
talking
me-
about choices.
let me-
That's why I'm bringing that example.
let me paint. I think there was I think it was a movie or it was a real life situation. I can't remember now. But paint this situation. Armed robber enters man's house. They already know that this man is someone that's stubborn. So the armed robber, believing that the moment we get to this man's house, let's show him that we are serious. And as soon as they enter the house, they first kill 2 children.
Ah.
Pow, pow. And then tell the man, are you ready? And this man, with all his stubbornness, decides to succumb. Does he have a choice? No. He doesn't have any choice.
He had a choice, but he chose the better option.
At
He
that
chose
point,
the better
the gun
to-
removes, takes away your choice.
No, it
The
doesn't.
choice,
No,
in fact, the
it
choice,
doesn't.
in fact,
No.
let me rephrase that. The choice has been made for you.
No.
They
Some
made
people,
they
some
made the
people
choice
would
for
have,
you.
No.
as regards choice, some people would have actually
They made the
stood.
choice for you.
Yeah.
I said you would have allowed yourself to get shot. Instead of that, after you're protecting, you're the man of the house,
Okay,
protecting
and
your head.
then by the time you get shot,
Because-
you now leave them to further vulnerability, which means that as a man, you have failed at your job.
Okay, so I think so I think this has to do with how most of us were brought up.
True.
Like you
100%.
said, societal expectations of men, of what a man should be able to do or what defines a man. And also, I think this comes from a place of fear of being seen as weak,
True.
fear of losing control, fear of being seen as not the protector, not okay, if I say this now, how will she look at me, or how will they look at me, how will they perceive me, ego, like you said earlier. So I think this comes from a place of fear or the wrong mindset of what the society expects of us. And like you said, this is where parents of today need to do more.
Better. True.
Our parents raised us the way they raised us with the knowledge that they knew. You can't say this is how I was raised, then I would also continue in this line, or I would also continue doing this. Because, in my opinion, being vulnerable does not equate being weak,
At
really.
all. At all.
And you would see a lot of it's easier for women to be. I think I also understand his point of view. Not that I agree with it, but I understand where it's coming from, because it actually happens to some men and even some women. Because some women may say, I don't want to open myself up to any friendship. You will see some people say, I don't have friends, I don't have. Most times it's coming from a place of trauma, because they've experienced something sometime that has made them decide, oh no, I'm not going down this path again, I don't want to open my heart again. It's just like what some people say, all men are scum, all women are cheats, all categorizing everybody in that, using those words because of their own one or two experiences, not wanting to now, to still open up themselves and be vulnerable with other people because one person did something
Yes,
to you. So I think I understand, but
Me, I don't
I
understand.
don't agree.
I don't understand because, especially for me, I cannot be with somebody that is not vulnerable. I mean,
Well-
why should you be sucking what you are going through in? Like, you see most men, when they come back, probably they had a bad day at work, and you are coming in, you are sucking it. Why can't you just say, oh, this is how I feel? I mean, as much as I might not be able to offer solution, but it relieves you. That's why you see so many of them, they are dying of depression and suicide because they are keeping it in.
Yeah.
Because by the time they express themselves,
This
the
is
next
what
thing you
I
will now
see.
come and
The
you
one
now
you
say,
bring to the table is down, don't you?
I am
Let's
the
go
table,
there.
West
I am the table, like I am the
And
damn
the food
table.
table.
I am the damn table. So
The
let's not
food
go
table.
there. Let's leave table
Let's
aside
leave
because that
table.
one is not even a matter of this.
that is the point. That is actually the point of the table. Forget the financial, remove the financial. The point of the table is, in the times when I am down, physically, feeling physically down, because I'm not saying that men don't feel physically down or mentally down. They do. But the reason for that, what you bring to the table, the main reason for it is, in the moments when I am feeling physically, mentally weak, what can you do for me? What can you tell me?
I can give you a shoulder to lean on.
What are you doing with your bloody shoulder?
Okay, if you don't need a shoulder, why did you get a partner in the first place?
Exactly.
If I needed a shoulder,
companionship.
When did we get married?
if I needed your shoulder, I would get a cat. I'll get a dog.
That's
I don't need a shoulder.
A cat or dog
What
will
I
not
need
give
is
you
for
one.
you to tell me. If I need somebody to hug, I will go and rub on my cat. See, scientists have said that by caressing a cat like this
and the hug you will give
multiple times makes you feel
human being.
better than even putting your head on the shoulder of your female or whoever. So if I need a shoulder, it's not you I need a
But
pet.
wait, do you know that women are also very intuitive naturally?
True.
And so when you say, if you tell your wife now that, okay, this is what I'm going through, or this is the mental battle I'm having, and then she's not able to prefer any solution, she may not be able to prefer any solution
At that moment.
and it's not even in all situations that she may be able to prefer solution.
True.
But one, you talking about it actually relieves. That's like the first point of release
For you.
and for your mental health. That's like the first, you being able to talk about it, express it, release it without getting angry or exhibiting all those other overwhelming emotions. That's like the first stage of release. Then another thing is, she may actually be able to provide solutions.
Yeah, if you don't talk,
Why don't you try this?
Exactly.
Why don't you try this? Why don't we try this?
Let me tell you how men think, and I'm sure Sam here will agree with me.
Okay.
A man opening his mouth, I'll say it again, I'm sure I said it earlier. A man opening his mouth to tell his partner, his wife in this case, that, oh, babe, wifey, dearie, whatever he decides to call her, is this thing, sweetheart, XYZ is bothering me, and I have thought about it, I've done the calculations, but I'm not able to find this thing. And oh my god, the thing is just making me feel down, and it is giving me a headache, and the thing is, two scenarios. First scenario is wife says, oh, are you serious? Okay, but then I know somebody that knows somebody. Okay, wait, let me call Titi. She picks up her phone, calls Titi. Titi, Do you know something, something, something? Oh, okay, thank you. I said, then call Shade. By the time she calls one or two, three people, or even if she doesn't call them that moment, she said, okay, daddy, you know what? Let us calm down and let's think about it. Maybe she talks about it with him. And then at the end of their discussion, she gives him a solution. That man, the next time he has anything bothering his mind, the first person that will come to his mind is his wife.
Like,
Wait
okay.
before he goes to another person. That's
Okay.
first scenario. Second scenario is, oh my dear, oh this thing, clinic on whatever happened, and it's giving me headache. I don't know how to go about it, and and the thing is making my stomach turn. Whatever he decides to say, and then the wife says, "Oh, are you serious? Oh, baby, sorry. You know what? Let me give you massage." It's massage no fair, Jenny. It's not.
Who do you know that
It's not
massage at that
easy.
time can
That
actually
man,
relieve
that
you
man,
of that
the next
mental
time,
stress?
the next time he has, if he happens to find the solution to the thing by himself, the next time something of another nature happens, he's not going to think about her.
But what
That's
He
when
will
he
come
gets it
home.
wrong.
He will come home
do you know
and he will
that
swallow that thing.
he may
And
actually
he will go
think
to
of
where
the
the solution
solution
came
himself, but from a
A
more
relaxed-
relaxed
God bless
mind?
you, ma. That's the point.
Because that massage
that's
has
the
given
point.
you the mind to be more relaxed,
That's the
calmer.
point. See,
So you are able to think better.
so I think the problem you have now is the fact that
You
you
don't have
believe
a
that.
problem.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so the thing there now is you feel okay sharing your body or whatever it is you are going through with probably your wife or anybody is because they might not provide solution to you at that moment. But the real thing here now is why we are saying men should be vulnerable. It's not as if we are saying that women are going to give you or whoever you are sharing the story with will give you 100% solution.
Exactly.
No, we are saying why not let the burden out first?
Exactly.
And you don't even know where your answer will come from. Just like she mentioned,
Let it out
might
to
be
me. Let it out. Let
to
it
your
out to
wife,
me.
to your wife,
I think so. Should answer.
So that what will happen. You just let it out.
so that she will sympathize with you and you
Sympathize,
guys
I
can
don't
reason
need-
together and look for solution together.
The roof is falling. You are telling me so we can sympathize. Is this
But
sympathy
you
that will
know
raise
that-
the roof back? The thing is literally
But
falling.
peace,
The
peace.
earthquake is literally happening.
peace
They are telling me
and
we should
calm.
be discussing about it. Instead of finding an active solution. See, men
Peace and
operate in
calm.
activity, in being
Well.
active. We don't operate in talking about it and deliberating and doing debating and literary society. No. we don't operate in that.
So keeping it to yourself, will it bring the
Men
solution?
operate in movements.
Okay, keeping it to yourself now, will it bring the solution?
No, you're keeping it to yourself. You're keeping it away from you. You're not keeping it to yourself because already the man is doing mental
Mental-
calculations
If you read that, that's
already.
why you get depressed. That's what we are telling you. Depression. This is what it leads to.
If I'm
Mental
talking to you
health.
about it, it means that on some level, even if you're not able to give me 100% solution, I know that on some level you can give me
What
a
if-
fraction
what
of that
if-
solution.
What if
Not
it's the
talk about
massage
it.
that she can even
Mr.
give
Sam,
you?
it's what you have to say
So,
towards what he said.
So I have three things to say.
Okay. We are listening.
Number one is, as a man, right?
As a man.
Yes, as a man, MAN. When you, because listening to what Mr. Olamide has been saying, yeah, I agree on some of his views, right? That when a man discusses some things with you,
True.
he needs a solution. But let me make you understand that it is not all the time you discuss something with your solution provider in quotes, either being an external person or your wife, that you get results or immediate solution to that thing. Now, what happens in that instance is that the stress, the thoughts, the battle of the mind based on that challenge stays in your mind for a while. And accumulation of that is what leads to mental stress. And it's from that mental stress it leads to depression. And that's because you cannot be certain that it is all the time you get. I've never seen that man on earth before that. It's all the time you get immediate answers to your challenges. Sometimes you sleep 24 hours, you go 48, 72 hours, sometimes a week.
Yeah, without solution.
You don't even, for example, you might have a need, a financial need for something. You have like a 10 million naira target you need to maybe to get a particular property or to do something, or else the opportunity flies away. So do you tell me that if you don't now get the 10 million naira in 24 hours,
Give up.
you give up? So that kind of something, that thing, you keep thinking through it.
It's true.
As you're talking to people, you keep thinking through it. It stays in your mind. And don't forget that one best way to also talk about one best way to talk about the issues, right, that it's being bottled up in your mind is to share it.
Yeah.
So when people say that a problem half shared is or half solved, how do they even say it?
Shared
Shared is
the
half solved.
half solved.
So not that
Did you hear that phrase? The problem shared is half solved.
we
Not the problem
half
shared
solved.
is half
Hold on, hold on.
Hold
on.
At least some form of solution
Yeah, you're
was
closer.
preferred.
Hold
Not
on.
that you said your this thing and then it was
Hold on,
all
hold on.
that you now
Maybe you
got.
had the kidney.
So
Solution. The solution was preferred.
experience.
I
Yes,
can't
yes.
help you. I can't help you, but I know somebody who might be able to.
But
Solution.
listening to you.
Solution has entered.
So
sorry.
Did you observe that from this topic of vulnerability, we've talked about choices,
Yeah.
and we're also tilting towards the word trust now,
Yes. Yes.
because I believe those two things align.
True.
So because the fear of vulnerability can also be the fear of trust. Like you don't want to,
The
you
absence
don't want
of
to.
trust.
Yeah, exactly.
Absence
Absence of trust.
Yeah.
Because and that is the key thing for a man, because if a man has shared something with you before and you offered a solution, you are one of as Olamide rightly said, you are one of his top
Solution
right?
providers.
That he will go to, right?
True.
And to your partner, right? Why we believe, there's this something I was reading online, a particular podcast, and the person was talking about vulnerability, how to use vulnerability as a source of strength.
Wow.
I think that was last week or something like that.
Wow.
Actually, yeah. So and it was talking about, I think the person is a relationship expert or something. So it was talking about building intimacy with your partner. From intimacy, you're able to build some level of trust. So how do you now build intimacy if the person doesn't even know where to come in?
How do you build intimacy without communication?
Exactly.
You can trust your partner in other things.
What that one?
You can
You either trust your partner
or
You
or
don't trust your partner.
Exactly.
There's no partial trust.
Exactly.
There's not like partial
You can't
trust.
choose where
you
to
don't
trust
trust your
You
wife
can
or you don't
trust your
trust your
partner
wife.
with several other things.
So you are choosing where to
I-
trust your wife.
No, I agree, yes. Because you can trust her that okay, she can take care of the kids. Oh yes, she can take care of the house. Oh yes, she can drive. Oh yes, she can change this thing
When
or
it
whatever.
concerns your personal life.
You can even trust her with certain things in your personal life. But there can be absence of trust in some really difficult situation that you know that okay, if I carry this thing and share it with her, I'll be adding
Okay.
to her own mental stress,
That's-
which already is
that's-
nonsense on your own
that's-
part.
Well,
Because your job
I
is to
understand
make
that
her
part.
own life easier,
I
not to
understand
carry
that
your
part.
own and add to her
Then
own
why you
again.
go to
Your
one?
choice,
Why you go to one?
your choice is to find solutions to things that can affect you as an individual, her as an individual, and both of you as a collective. That is your job as a man, to find
It's not
solutions
your job
to
alone.
those things.
Okay, so yes, I agree. It is your job, but it is not your job.
That's why you guys are one. You married, you came together, you're a family.
And I completely understand the part where you said there are some things that you're going through, and you know that if you share with if you share with your wife, it's going to completely, break her down or add to our mental
I'm not
stress.
saying don't share anything.
That is
Share things.
understandable.
Share things.
But it is
But not everything
also
you can share.
there's a way
That
that
means
you
you
will
can't
pass
cry
the
in front of
message.
your wife.
Why will you be crying?
Somebody said that it's not what we are talking about crying.
Why are you crying? What are you crying about?
But do you know that once you decide, well, from my own religion, I'm a Christian. So once you decide to marry in the God's way, following the God's order, your life is no more your life. It's no more my personal life. It's our.
Exactly.
Two have become one. So whatever affects me is supposed to affect you. Whatever affects you is supposed to affect me. But I won't know what's affecting you if you don't tell me.
But Mr. Sam, can you cry in front of your wife?
No.
Why?
So because
Well,
let me-
most
let me-
men have
I don't
so-
know.
our guest last
no. So let me.
men
That
have
is the point.
issues
That is the
with
point where
crying.
I align with Olamide.
You are lying.
Because crying is not a sign of weakness. It's a show of weakness.
You're
It's not a
displaying-
show.
You're
It's
displaying
a
your
show
weakness.
of emotion.
It's exactly.
So
Letting out your emotion.
because
You are basically telling
Do you
your
know that
partner that you
people
are
cry from laughing?
incapable
no,
of holding yourself together.
No.
Crying, it was created for a reason now. Crying was created for nothing is created that does not have its own purpose. It was created for a reason.
So like you're having a meltdown and you can't shed tears, 1 or 2 tears in front of her.
Even if
Melts down in front of her.
Wait.
Wow.
Even if it's not in front of her, like in your bedroom, maybe when
Definitely you'll be able to do that.
Can
By myself, I can do that. But not where she can be seeing me and I'm just like,
So
Thank God, at least you cry.
no, of course, men do cry, right?
Mm.
And why I said to me it's a show of
Weakness.
this because you can as well go to your closet.
to display.
It's time
What are you
to me.
displaying
So why?
now?
So
Are you
why I just agree that it's simply a display because I remember when I lost my mom, right? When it was the final time to birth, while everybody were with the drama that I had to go
She
Drama.
to
says drama.
right no
Drama.
like everybody all those usual. I had to go to
A corner.
a corner,
Mm.
right? Because
Mm.
if I had started my own
Mm.
at that point
To
in
end
front
it.
of my sisters,
Mm.
Well.
so that would have probably just
Well.
aggravated things.
Escalated.
No,
Well,
it's
not
weird.
You will escalate
You can
things.
their own. Yeah.
Because
I
at that
understand.
point
I
I'm
understand.
supposed to be
The pillar of strength for
But
every other
you
person.
can't say when you should.
I understand.
relax.
No, I understand that.
I just said I went to the corner
Okay, to do your own crime.
To release your emotions.
to release my emotions.
Yes, which is fine.
Right. I remember the same day when we were about to pick her to my cousin went to the back of the mortuary. He did his own cry. He spent like 15 minutes. He came out back. I saw his Rosie know that this one don't
You don't cry.
cry well. He came out. Then it was off his bone.
So Sam,
So
you're
I
saying that probably something really bad really happened to you. You went home to your wife and you are talking to her and probably tears. You won't allow your tears. It's trying to fall. You hold it in.
I tell don't tell you go back.
So also know that men. I don't want to push personality
Okay.
into vulnerability,
Mm-hmm.
right? So personalities are also different.
Okay.
True.
So, for example, my wife, there is an extent to which I can because she can be so emotionally attached, right, to things, especially to me. If I'm down, she's
It
also
affects
It's
her.
affecting her.
she's also down and not happy,
Okay.
right? So at that instance, we were supposed to be sharing strength because I know of our personality.
Mm.
I will hold up my
Oh, you want to be crying together.
no. No, because wait, no, you can't say that.
Relationship.
No.
Cry.
So the sincerity,
Can two blind people live?
exactly, give each other.
What you later be like you can pray and she's praying and
So who is going to bed me?
so you just hold each other and
Exactly.
The man has seen a lot of dramas. I believe this is Nollywood
This
or
But
Hollywood.
I agree with Sam. Most men,
something old about what that guy's name.
most men would agree with his stance that
True.
don't show, especially if you know that your wife is somebody that is
Emotional.
not emotionally, strong.
Mhm.
So I understand, but still, being vulnerable is it's a strength really. It's just like
Yeah.
being courageous. You can't say somebody who is courageous is weak,
Mhm.
or somebody who is learning to trust somebody is weak. No, it's a sign of strength, and it
No,
should
I'm not saying don't talk
should
about your
be.
this thing. Talk about things with your partner, especially. Yes, I agree. Talk about, but there are certain things that these subjects
Mm.
are explosive subjects, and before I can talk about it with her,
Mhm.
I'm going to her with, oh, this thing happened, but I found a solution. Then she cannot be like, oh, are you serious? Oh, you are dealing with this thing. Ah, yes, I know, but but I've cleared it out.
But what
And
if
then
she feels bad?
at that
you
point,
didn't share it with
at
her?
that point, she cannot do the or.
But what if
But
she feels bad that you didn't get to share that moment, that particular moment with her?
what would she have done prior to me
Let's
finding the
talk about
solution?
let's talk about vulnerability in finances. Okay, so in this instance where um, you are going through some financial pressure, or like you said, you have like a deadline to meet, or like a project or something that you need to do, and you need money like now, or you need money in the next 1 month, that would affect maybe the money that you drop at home, or the money for other things that you both have agreed you use your finances for. In that case where you are bottling up feelings, you are bottling up the scenario, you are not sharing, she would assume that it can cause issues, because she would assume that, bros, you're supposed to drop this and this for this and this, but this and this is not forthcoming. What's going on? And you are not telling
You're
her
not telling
that,
me anything that this is what you're doing.
this is what the situation is. So we may need to manage for this 1 month or
Yeah.
2 months. You know that some men even lose their job 3 months, 4 months.
They won't tell their wife. They'll be going out. Or some of them will be going out.
And the wife will still
Think
continue
that
in
exactly. Very bad.
She said very bad. I think it's just the aspect of trust and fear, really fear of being seen as weak, and that is something that we should try as much as possible to reduce to the barest minimum.
Yeah.
At least teach the younger generation that it's okay to open up to somebody that you trust. So build that trust first. You don't just open up, you don't just go on Instagram and say, it's just like opening up your weaknesses. Or yeah, you don't just go out there and say, I don't do this, so I don't know how to wash this, so I don't know how to cook, I don't know, and you just lay down all your personal weaknesses that should be meant for the people in your inner circle. So I think you should also have the let's say the sense now to know who you should be vulnerable with. But by all means, I think it helps with your mental health rather. It helps you release emotions, overwhelming emotions. It helps you build trust in relationships, because the other person can relate that, okay, so you also feel this way too. And I understand that some people would take advantage of it, and that's the fear that we are talking about. Some people actually take advantage of you being vulnerable, or you showing that, okay, so I need help in this area. But it should not stop us from just have to pray and be very intuitive to who you should be vulnerable with. But I think it's absolutely a sign of strength, and not weakness. That's
So you
definitely.
said financial vulnerability now.
Yeah.
Even that one, a man shouldn't be financially vulnerable.
So how will I know if I need to come in now that, okay, maybe the children's school fees is due, and from our family this thing, you pay school fees, or maybe I don't know how the family,
Okay, so
different families with different financial
okay,
this
see,
thing.
yeah, they
How
are.
do I know, okay, let
Let's
me
come
come in, or even assuming you have joint accounts, me I've put my own money. I'm expecting your own money so that we can run the family,
Exactly.
and it's not coming in,
I-
and you're
I-
not saying anything.
I'll give you different scenarios. For a younger person, for somebody who is, or let's say somebody who's single, somebody who's single, financial vulnerability for him as a man would be that he's dating a lady, and let's say with the current economic situation happening, there's one chief somewhere that has times 100 the money that the boy has. Already he's financially vulnerable.
Ow.
What is it? How does that? What?
That one is personal values.
Exactly.
That one is personal values.
Already he's financially
Ow.
vulnerable because the things that the girl wants.
Which thing
How do
does
you
the girl
You're
want?
already saying, you see that's what I'm saying.
Before you
See,
to
how
you
how do you
man
guys
post
think?
somebody,
Exactly.
it has to be somebody in
No.
your value system. Somebody who you have the same value.
Value system.
So not somebody that would fall for
The
a
chief that has money
because
that
you don't
have
have
money.
That is a given for all men naturally.
that would.
That okay, I want to start talking to this girl. I want to be able to show this person, even if the girl is not that type of girl, even if she's the modest girl, on some level, he wants to be able to show the girl that I am capable of taking care of your needs. Even if she's not collecting money to buy wig or to buy iPhone 15, but he wants to be able to tell the girl that on some level, even if her needs are small, I want to be able to take care of your needs.
Okay.
But now he doesn't have all of those money. The small money he has, he can barely even use it for himself. And then there's another guy, let's not even say chief. Then there's another guy, maybe in the same campus or in the same office or in the same hostel or whatever, that can show those capabilities. That guy is already financially vulnerable.
So when you know he doesn't have the financial capacity,
Why do you go into a relationship? If you don't have money, don't go into a relationship. God bless you. If you don't have money, don't go into a relationship.
No.
Stay single.
For relationship, not
Yes.
about money now. It's about money.
It's very
It's about
important.
different things now.
Why are you going to
She's making my point for me. She's making my point for me.
See,
She
you
just
can-
made my point
wait,
for me.
I'll say something. If I choose to be with someone,
And I've not even said my second point to
wait,
made
no.
just the
If
first
I
point
choose
for
to
me.
be with someone,
You shouldn't
and I
just
can
be
see
with
that
money.
my man does his best to take care of me, it doesn't mean that probably when he's financially down at a particular point of his life, I will now say I want to go and meet somebody else. No. Because I mean, he has had this money, he has taken care of me, but this is his moment where he even needs me the most. I would say at that time, I would go, but if you also remain broke for his life, that's when I will shift because I cannot be there. Do you get?
So
My
man,
point
so
will
man,
be,
so man has
whether
money.
you're a lady or whether you're a
So
man,
man-
please be able to take care of yourself.
Very
That was
important.
very
So
important. So
man
that
has-
you will not be falling for one chief
To
or one
another.
babalaye somebody.
So
Be
man
able
has
to
business,
Uh-huh.
has
build
plenty money.
capacity.
You all get married, and then for some magical reason or the other, he loses his business, he loses his money.
Yeah.
You guys have to move down from the mansion to a 2-bedroom house and all of those things. The 5 cars that you guys had, now you have to reduce it to 1, sell the other 3, and all those things, and then he doesn't have a job and then he's looking for a job. And then in that same breadth of space, you have money, maybe money you have been saving while he was giving you and whatever, you have a job and all of those things.
I will definitely stand up for him. Of course, that's where he needs me. Of course.
So you're
Like
saying
you
that
said,
there
he
are
has
no
been
there
there
are
for
no
me.
women or
This is
men
where I'm supposed to
or
stand up for
women
my husband. He has been there.
who would do that for their husband.
There are millions of ladies that will do that for their lady,
That's
for
the
their
wrong
man.
mindset. If that's
Okay,
where
there
they
are millions
coming
of ladies that will do that for their men.
Yeah.
But should a man put him, okay, so a man who has found himself in that situation,
He will be open about
Is
it
he-
and
is he
discuss
financially
about it.
vulnerable
This
or
is
not?
where we
See,
are right
it is not
now.
about being financially born. If you let your wife know that this is what I am going through, she can see it.
This
She
is
knows
where
who
we
her man
are.
was before that time.
So let me answer. Yes,
This is
it's
where
financially
we are
vulnerable.
right now. But we won't be here forever. But this is where we are right now.
I don't even
Because
want
you
to-
are saying that a man should not be financially vulnerable. But with that instance you gave now, he's financially vulnerable.
Exactly. So what does it do?
Okay, what should happen?
yes, now he should go and look for a way.
Because you just said for a magical reason now. A magical reason.
He will look for
You
a
lost
way.
some-
A
because you said-
thing that he didn't have a choice in the matter, he didn't have a say. in
Of
the
course.
He will say it will be
So
fine.
he will actually look for a way. And part of the way was even selling the mansion, trying
Exactly.
to go
manage
low
so
on
that
the cost.
exactly.
selling his
And the
cars.
wife was still with him. As
Exactly,
they moved
they
to the
went
one
there.
bedroom and the one car.
But then
Bros.
in the current livelihood of things now, there are 9 in 10 women who will not stay with that man.
That's fallacy of
So that's
generalization.
personal value.
That's not
Statistics
true.
is
Exactly.
stating
That's
Family,
you
just
just.
personal
that's-
values.
Which statistics?
Mhm.
It's stating that under 9 out of 10.
Because
Where did they get
we have-
their statistics
We
from?
have
Where
life
did they get their
statistics.
statistics
We have
from?
life statistics. Cider board is one of the statistics.
okay, so before we go, we'd like to hear one or two things from our guest speakers. For me, like I said, it's okay for men to be vulnerable. So, Mide, what would you like to say for someone out there?
So I mean, in a very short sentence, what I think is one, men should not be vulnerable generally. But if you're going to be vulnerable, it should mean that okay, you didn't have a choice or you didn't have a say in the matter, and you should immediately be able to follow up with a solution so that you don't stay in that vulnerable state. And then, and again, if you're going to be vulnerable in front of people that are not going to use it against you, people that you can trust to be vulnerable with, and then find a way around it and get out of that vulnerability as quickly as fast as you can. Not just stay there and then be vulnerable for God knows how long.
Thank you, Mr. Sam.
Yeah,
Sam, please.
I think Mr. Lamide is gradually accepting because I remember when we started this conversation.
Yeah.
So just only one sentence.
Thank
But
you.
now that we're ending, it's already
Tilted.
if you're going to be vulnerable, it's okay, right? So that just shows that it's okay to to try and guide yourself, right, from the fear of vulnerability. Yes, please do that so that you are able to trust the people that you should to provide the solution, like you rightly said, for you, so that you can quickly move out of that place of vulnerability. It's really key, and I don't think that will happen without communication, because that is by you talking to the right people. Because even at the point of you seeking for solution to get you out of that stage, it's about talking to the right people. When you talk to the right people, obviously, like you rightly said, you will get the right solution. So is that just that point of discernment, and of course, with every step put in place, of course, with the help of God and direction, and I believe men can quickly get out of the place of vulnerability. But it's okay to talk about things you need help on. Please, where you need to voice out, voice out. Don't allow the definition of the societal definition of a man. Right? Don't allow the Twitter definition of a man, or you say the X definition, or the Instagram definition of a man, or one social media influencer somewhere is giving you definition. Just know that all these definitions are all based on views, their own views.
True.
Right. So that's just all about it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you. It's been a very insightful conversation. I really enjoyed, the different angles, the different perspective. And so to just round this off, from a mental health perspective, it's okay for everybody, whether a man or a woman, because emotions are not they are not gender. They don't pick by their gender. They don't pick by gender. It affects everybody. Everybody at one point or the other goes through stress, pressure, and all these overwhelming emotions. And there has to be a way for you to express it, for you to experience it, feel it, experience it, express it positively, and then release it. So it's not okay to suppress your emotions, because society says that men should not show emotions, or men should not be seen as vulnerable. Men should not be seen as weak. That is not the definition of a man, and that is also important for as a sense where you build your sense of identity from. Is it from what the society says, or is it from what you know about yourself? Because when you follow what the society says, like I said, influencers and you don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. Like I've heard instances of where men will come out and say, my wife can never ever beat me, but in the real sense, they are going through abuse.
Man.
The wife is a vulnerable man.
The finish match.
It's vulnerable to beat him.
The wife is beaten. Is beaten. Sorry. The wife is beaten in black and blue at home. We're not saying that is right. That's absolutely wrong. But don't believe everything you hear. Build your own self or sense of identity. And also, one of the advantages of being vulnerable is that it actually strengthens relationship.
Yeah.
Because the other person is able to better relate with you. The other person is able to understand your perspective. Okay, I'm not alone in this. This person also feels this way. This person also feels this way. And then the person feels needed. Like, okay, I can help, I can provide support. And that's something that everybody at one point or the other wants. And it helps our mental health, being able to express your emotions positively in an effective manner suppresses release overwhelming emotions. And just like pressure cooker or pressure pot, if you know how it works, when the pressure is too high, you don't want to open a pressure pot when it's very dangerous. So you don't want to get to a point where you are suppressing and then it leads to anxiety, depression, and then suicide. There are better ways. Speak up now. Get help. Yes. So thank you very much for today. And I would like to end with this quote. Vulnerability sounds like truth and feels like courage. Truth and courage are most times not comfortable, but they are never seen as weakness. So vulnerability should never be seen as a weakness. Jemima.
Thank you for being a part of today's episode. We really appreciate you. And if you're a man out there, it's okay to cry. It's okay to be vulnerable. I mean, until we come your way next time, if you've not subscribed, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Turn off your post notifications so you don't get to miss out on any of our insightful discussion. Until next time, bye-bye.
Bye.